Hi everyone. So in this tutorial, we will learn concat in PySpark, concat WS with separator, and initcap, which helps us to initial letter it makes it into capital, right? So that's the three things we will be learning. So let's jump to the code and understand. So let's see the code and understand each one of them. So I have imported my data. So let's quickly run this data and show the data, how my data looks like. So here we go. We have data set as employee, name, age, department, salary, city. The name is Alice Bob Marley. The Marley of the Bob is basically in the small letter, right? Lowercase. Generally, the initial letter of each first name and last name starts with the capital letter. So there's a one problem over here which we have identified. Similarly, for David Beckham as well, we see that the surname of the Beckham, surname of the full name is like a small case. So we'll have to make it capital. So other things we will see. So the difference between concat and concat ws is basically concat helps us to concatenate all the information into one column. We have information in multiple columns. Let's say we have first name, last name, city, department, for example, in multiple four columns. We can concatenate those information into one column using concat in PySpark. Now, what is concat ws? So concat ws is basically it helps us to put a separator within each column you want to put, right? So that's how concat ws comes into place with separator. Ws is with separator. So that is the second thing, right? So let's jump and implement the code and see how we can like kind of implement in PySpark Databricks notebook. So before starting, we'll import all the functions. So we'll import from PySpark dot sql dot functions import call first thing, because we will be selecting the columns. Then we will import concat, because we need concat to merge all the columns, all the information in one column. And we will use concat ws to put a separator. And we can use initcap also, because we will be seeing how we can make the initial characters of each word in a capital letter, in a uppercase, right? So let's start. So I'll create df new, df dot with column. And with that, I'll just insert the first argument of with column is always the name of the new column which I'll be creating. So in this case, let's say I'm saying full info. Okay, full info of an employee, let's say. Okay, and what I'll do in this full info is basically I'll merge the information, like what is the name of the employee, then what's the department of the employee, and which city it belongs to. Three information I want the to concatenate into one column, so that I can get the information real quick by seeing in one column. So what I'll do in this case, I'll come here and I'll use concat. Okay, and I'll provide the column names, right? I'll provide the column name. So first column is my name, second column is my department, and third column is my city. Okay, so that is it. So let's see if it is working or not. Display is to display our data set, and the argument is what data you want to display. Okay, so let's see if it's working or not. Okay, so let me do one more thing, because a lot of columns are there. So let me just select my newly created column, which is my full underscore info. to see if the information is concatenated or not, right? So here we go. We have one column created in the data frame which has the name, department, and the city. But this looks like very messy. So what we can also do over here is we can use lit to give a separator here as well. So let's say I'll call lit and I'll say, hey, look, I want to give a separator, and that separator is, let's say, my vertical bar. Okay, and I concatenate this as well within the between the columns, right? So I'll do it over here as well, right? And here we go, comma, right? Now let's run this. Okay, we have error and it says that okay, I think we need to import lit as well and run this. Okay, we have placed the lit in the wrong place. So concatenate bit inside the concatenate we need to put the lit. So over here it's fine. Then after department, I think we'll be putting one lit here, and then city, and then I think this should work. Yeah, so you see we now have a clean layer in which we can see a proper separator, and we have a vertical bar separator, and we can understand that this is one information and this is second information, right? So that is concatenate. Now the same thing we can do within a function in PySpark, because let's say if we have 100 rows, then we need to implement this so many times, right? Lit so many times. So we have this function. Let's implement that function now again. So we'll add one more column. Okay, over here, copy this and paste this. Okay, and let me do it over here, right? And I'll say this as ws just to name it, because we will understand the difference. Full name using with separator, right? Concat with separator. Now I'll use the function over here as ws. The only change is ws. Now what I'll do, I'll remove these. Okay, I'll remove this lit. So let me write the whole argument again, because it will be very much clear then. Okay, so here we go. We have inserted concat ws. Now the first argument of concat ws is what separator through which you want to separate the information, right? So I'll give, I want to separate the information using vertical bar. Okay, and then it will the other arguments are basically which information you want to concatenate. So I'll say, okay, concatenate first name. Okay, then concatenate the second column, which is my department, and then third column is my city, and I think that will be fine. But the whole thing is I want to show this as well. So I'll just use full info ws, and I'll just put quotes here, and also I'll just try to show a few more columns over here. I'll try to show name, department, and city, and just putting this into quotes. Okay, and let's run this, and I think we will understand the difference how this is working now properly. So we have three information already, which is my name, department, and city. And if you see through a lit command we did this full info, right? And without lit command also we did, but the information provided was a little messy. Now with the same thing we have done, if you see, with the same the same output we have brought it using the ws concat ws function, right? We can just make one more changes, because we need some space to understand, like, and this is without space. So what we can do is we can come here and we can provide here a space and space, and this should give what this looks like. Now this is like little clean and also visible, properly visible. Now the third thing which we will learn is initcap. which basically the problem like this, like David Beckham, and Beckham starts with lowercase, will have to make it uppercase. So this kind of problem we can deal with initcap. So let's implement quickly. So what we can do is, we can again create df new and say df dot with column. With column, again I'm repeating it, it helps us to add a new column, right, as per our requirement. I'll say that name, title, for example, right, and close the parenthesis, and then finally we'll bring call and say, hey, look, name is the column in which we want to apply init cap, right? So before that, we'll initialize init cap over here, init cap, and provide the column name, and I think this should be fine. Let's say I'll just show this as well. uh, I think, let's see what is the output. So if we see over here the name and the name title, right, name and the name title, let's select the columns, select name, name, title, title, okay, and show this now. So you'll understand this better. Comparison will be very much easy. So Alice is fine. Bob Marley, if you see the first alphabet is a small case, but we have by init cap it is basically like a capital. And similarly for David Beckham, the problem got resolved. In total, in today's lecture, we have learned concat ws and initcap. The difference between concat and concat ws is basically, concat ws provides us a separator. You can just mention one time and it will separate the information as per the columns. Concat only merges the column without anything, without any space. So we have seen both the example, right? So this is the difference. And init cap example, like David Beckham, the Beckham's first initial letter was small case. We need to make it capital case, so like we did using init cap in this case, right? So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture.